welcome to the College Guy Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Weiss, and today we'll be focusing on the 2015 season and how the teams in the AFC fared. And today my co-hosts are Thomas Brown and Daniel Inigo. How you doing, guys?
Doing all right. It's been a long day, pain in the ass setting this up, but I'm ready to start.
I'm doing all right, Ryan. Doing all right. Weather sucks. You know how it is.
All right, first a little about ourselves. I'm a student at UCF in Orlando. Thomas is a student at College of Central Florida in Ocala, where we're all from originally.
Hopefully I'll be at UCF.
And then Daniel is a student athlete, football player at Concordia. Isn't that right, Daniel?
It is. I play college football. Granted, I'm injured, and I plan on going to UCF in a year, if not sooner.
Hopping on my bandwagon. All right, so today we're going to talk about the NFL regular season and how that all played out and what teams surprised us, what teams disappointed. I'm an Eagles fan, so that will be plain for me to talk about. Thomas is a Broncos fan, so he will have fun talking about his season so far because he's got the Super Bowl coming up in a couple of weeks.
At least until we get blown out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. And then Daniel is a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, the only person from Ocala, from Florida, which we all are, who is actually a fan of a team in the state of Florida.
No expectations for us, Ryan. None at all.
All right, guys. So we're gonna start off with the AFC East, and you guys want to do least to worst, first to last? How do you want to do this? You want to start off with the Bills, or you want to start off with the Dolphins or the Patriots?
We can start off with the Dolphins.
All right. Now, Dolphins had a classic Dolphins year, maybe a little worse than normal. We all know for the past 3-something years, there's been all this Dolphins hype, right? Where everyone before the season starts is like, "This is the year for the Dolphins." The past couple of years, I was like, "It's not happening." This year, I finally bought into the hype, and I had the Dolphins as 6th seed in the AFC. I don't know what you guys thought. What you guys thought about the preseason? Daniel, what you think about the Dolphins?
I expected them to not be good this year. Joe Philbin's a mediocre coach, in my opinion, and when Dan Campbell took over, I expected about the same. Ryan Tannehill is not a franchise quarterback, and their defense is atrocious.
Yeah, I thought the offense would be a little better with Thomas Life. I thought the offense would be a little better with Bill Lazor running the kind of what Chip Kelly ran. A different story. We get that a little later. But at the end of last season, or not even the end of last season, all of last season, they showed that guys get open in the offense, but they got away from running the ball too much with Lamar Miller. Because last year, after
the thing about the Dolphins.
Oh, is he back? Is he back? Thomas, we're gonna wait till you get all the way hardwire connected to let you talk again. Sorry, dude. But yeah, Lamar Miller finally stepped up last year after Marino got hurt, and there's games where they just would go entirely away from him and just forget about him. I should have seen him with the Philbin thing. I never thought Philbin was a good head coach. Granted, I thought he was a good hire when they did hire him, but after a year or so, I was like, yeah, it's not going to work.
I would have to agree, but they have a young star wide receiver in Jarvis Landry, who I had on all my fantasy teams this year, who ended up doing really well until the end of the year. I think it's more of the quarterback play. Ryan Tannehill should not be given franchise money. He's a decent quarterback at best, but not a great quarterback.
Yeah, he's a decent quarterback. That's the problem, though, now. You have to pay that $17 million range for average quarterbacks. Oh, there is Thomas. Yeah, you have to pay that because there's a bunch of teams facing that right now. It's like, do you want to start over with a mediocre quarterback or a rookie and just hope for the best, or do you want to go with that average guy who, if he doesn't screw up, then you'll have a chance of winning 9 or 10 games? Thomas, right before we end the Dolphins, do you have any thoughts on them and how their season went?
Well, here's the thing about the Dolphins is every year the hype train gets just ridden. For the Dolphins, they got to show me something. You know, even with bringing in Sue, it seemed like their run defense got worse. I'm not sure, but Dolphins, it's just I can't believe in them yet. They gotta show me something first. Didn't have any expectations. Wasn't surprised. 6-10. Heck, I'd say they go 6-10 again next year.
Yeah, last point on them before we move on. I agree with you, Thomas. The defensive line play was not good. By the time Cameron Wake finally started playing well, he tore his Achilles. The the only game I'd say was where they should have looked like if they play up to their full potential was the Philadelphia game. They not Sue just he dominated Jason Kelsey, who granted had a bad year, but normally one of the better centers in the league. So if the defense plays up to their full potential, they can be good. Granted, they have to fix that secondary. The back end's pretty bad. All right, our next team is the Buffalo Bills, who finished third in the AFC. I had them going 6-10 before the year started. They didn't finish much better. Tyrod Taylor played better than I thought he would, but he made the Pro Bowl, but that's after like 10 guys or whatever it was. So when you have a Rex Ryan coach team, they had the problems that a Rex Ryan coach team has. Nothing but penalties, no discipline. At times the offense goes stale. But this time, one of their only really consistent offense, because LaShawn McCoy got hurt a lot this year, he's banged up a lot, was the deep ball and Samuel Watkins. When they finally got that down, their offense started working better. Thomas, your thoughts on the Bills?
Buffalo Bills, definitely out of the AFC East and probably in the AFC in general, was definitely my most disappointing team. I was a believer in the beginning of the season. Rex Ryan bringing in LaShawn McCoy, definitely was a fan of that. So they go 10-6 with a spot in the playoffs. I'd said they'd lose in the wild card. Started off 2-1, a loss to the Patriots, 8 points. It's not bad, but then looking down the schedule, losing to the Giants, only scoring 10 points on arguably the worst defense in the NFL, losing to the Jaguars. You know, these are games they just should not have dropped.
I think Daniel would disagree on that Jaguars point, but that's later.
That's for a later time.
Yeah.
Looking at the rest of their losses, they lost to the Patriots and the Chiefs. They lost to the Eagles. Eagles were kind of a toss-up at that point. Redskins were peaking, but yeah, those two games I really think were the difference in the Bills season.
Yeah, that first Patriot game though, they were down with 21 at one point, but they made that late surge. But yeah, I see what you're saying, Daniel.
I just want to know how
Thomas has got so much shade at your team like that.
Rex Ryan's hard-nosed defensive philosophy, but their defense was awful this year.
Yeah, their defense was much better with Jim Schwartz. Him and Mario Williams. Williams is gonna get cut probably because they do not get along. They don't agree with how he's being used. Williams thought he was being dropped in coverage too much, and I totally agree with that. Williams is not a joker linebacker. He's just line up, put his hand in dirt, and go get him. He's not used that way. Ronald Darby played really well for them this year on the back end. They still need safety help. I've never been a fan of their linebackers, but somehow they got better after they traded Kiko Alonso. Again, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, there's still. I don't think that's a playoff team of Rex. I was a Rex fan in New York, but the team the Philadelphia game that pretty much ended their season. They had slim hopes there too, but they had like 5 offsides and every single play there was a holding. There was just an egregious hold. Sometimes it was called. I've never seen so many defensive ends tackled in that game. Anyone else got have an ending point on the Bills? I don't see their future too much brighter.
Average, missing the playoffs depending on how the AFC wild card pans out. Tyrod Taylor is not a future franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I definitely could see him going 8-8 again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought 8-8 was better than they actually were, but we'll see.
They need to step up on defense. That's their key.
Yeah,
to get back to that top 5 NFL defense again.
With a lot of talent, they should be much better. You're right.
Yeah.
Next team could not have had more of a season like they normally do in their franchises. The Jets. You know, I was a believer in the Jets at the beginning of the year, but that's when I thought Geno was going to be their quarterback. And to my surprise, which I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, because when he was in Buffalo with Chan Gailey, he was amazing. Fitzpatrick played really well for them. They didn't screw up the games. Like he didn't have his normal Fitzpatrick games where he's throwing 3 picks. I guess his only time he looked like that was again the Philadelphia game. Yeah, but he really didn't lose many games from him, except for at the very end when they needed it the most, he turned into classic Ryan Fitzpatrick and threw all the interceptions he could have. 3 picks in the fourth quarter in the game. Well, you're winning, you win, and you're in. Revis played a little. Revis showed signs of slowing down, still a top corner, but he showed signs. Cromartie played really bad this year. Screen and Williams were much better for them. That's a bad contract. They need to try to get out of that, and because I mean it might have been injuries he was nagging all year, but his future does not look bright for that team. They got their defensive line. Their defense is really good. They might need to upgrade their linebackers. David Harris is getting old. I know they just gave him a new contract last year, but still.
The Jets, the story of the Jets, honestly, to me, it's just they just did not finish. I'm looking at their losses. A lot of really, even toss-up matches. Losses to the Eagles, to the Raiders, to the Texans.
Well, that Eagles game it was 24-0 at one point, and
then
the Eagles just took the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Not even took the foot off the gas. They just were the Eagles, but that offense wasn't working. That loss is not as close as it was. Okay, continue.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, he surprised me. I think they got a good group in there with Eric Decker and Brandon Marshall. You definitely can see the Jets maybe next. It's so tough. I don't know how to feel. I mean, I don't expect Miami and Buffalo to make the playoffs, but I could see them like playing spoilers. I'm sure the Patriots still be good. Jets, we'll have to wait and see. Revis definitely. It's not that he had a bad year. He was definitely quiet. That's basically all I have to say. Did better than I thought. We'll see. We'll see more from the Jets in the future.
Yeah, that's all I had to say about that. That's all I heard was Forrest Gump when he said that. All right, Daniel.
The Jets were a surprise for me this year. I thought Geno Smith was going to be their quarterback, and then after he broke his jaw.
Oh, he broke his jaw, or someone broke it for him?
After that whole altercation, as a football player, stuff happens. Stuff happens. Sometimes you get punched in the face, but
sometimes you get punched in the face. I thought that's a box rule, isn't it? Isn't that?
That's something Bennett would say.
Either one. No, but Jets were a surprise for me. I knew they had a good front seven. I've always been a Ryan Fitzpatrick fan. I love Ryan Fitz, and I think he did real well this year, and Brandon Marshall proved again why he's a top-flight wide receiver. I believe the Jets should have made the playoffs, but that was their fault. They did a classic Jets move. And I believe if they keep Fitz under lock and he doesn't go back to old ways, Fitzpatrick may take them to a playoffs for this year or next year.
Yeah, I mean, his contract's up again, but I couldn't imagine him wanting to leave Chan Gailey. All right, and of course, the team finished first in the AFC, like AFC East every single year. The New England Patriots. Nothing really new to this team. Tom Brady, Robert Gronkowski. The offensive line play was weak this year, but that Stork being banged up really hurt them. The Trey Jackson, what was Trey Jackson? I can't remember. I'll scratch that out. I can't remember the right guard. Yeah, Trey Jackson's in Buffalo. Guy with Florida State. Can't remember his name. Anyways, yeah. Defense was a lot better than I thought it'd be. At least the secondary. My good old buddy Patrick Chung. He was past 2 years. He didn't like he was back in New England. Not the year in Philadelphia he spent, because that was all fun. Malcolm Butler really surprised me this year. I thought his ceiling was nickel corner at best, and he showed he's a true number one guy. He can maybe not lock down, but most teams' number ones he can really shut down.
I'd have to say, without the injuries, no doubt about it, the Super Bowl right now. I do believe if Denver went to Foxborough, New England would have crushed them.
Well, I mean, Denver didn't have quarterback play though. I know they had injuries. They had a bunch of injuries. Hightower didn't play for a while. Gronkowski missed one game. Thank God he missed that game. That made me happy.
You also have to remember that first Denver game. Denver was playing with Brock Osweiler and without Ware. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even with Osweiler was not good this year, but neither was Peyton. Like they had the whole pitchers had Tom Brady. Broncos didn't know what they had at quarterback this year. They had to, even with the injuries, they had to take advantage. Even without Amendola and without Edelman, they still had to take advantage.
Yeah, and then they lost their running back, and then
Yeah, Dion Lewis was a
Their,
huge loss.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a
their
bigger
line
loss than anything.
they probably need to do was bad. Patriots next year most likely in Super Bowl talks again. AFC Championship game again.
Yeah, as far as winning the division, going 12-4, making the AFC Championship, absolutely none of that surprised me. What's interesting to note about the Patriots is they finished the stretch 2-4 without Edelman. Just shows you how much of a key factor Edelman is in that offense. Also, another note, could have hit disaster in the playoffs. The Chiefs game, Chiefs almost came back and won. Broncos, I think that's the worst Tom Brady's played in quite some time. Throwing 2 interceptions, getting harassed all night. As far as next year, no-brainer. Patriots are going to win the division again.
Well, speaking as an Eagles fan, there was no way Chiefs would come back in that game with knowing their coach. On to the AFC North, and the team that finished last. We all could have bet our houses on it. The Cleveland Browns. Not much to say there. Normal Brown stuff. Their defense was really Hayden only played 5 games this year, but even when he played, he looked bad. But they're total box safety, can't guard anyone. Deshaun Gibson's a good safety. I like him. Paul Kruger came on after a bad year last year. I don't know why they let Jabal Shear go to the Patriots. That was a bad move. But that defense still has too much talent to be as bad as it was. I think it was 29th overall in yards. It was just not a good look for them. Offensively, Manziel, when he was in there, looked decent. It looked like you could build around him maybe. But I was a supporter of his, but he's not getting it. I don't think he ever will. I think you got to cut him when let Jerry sign him in Dallas. I don't think there's anything else you can do with him, which is sad. Because he looked serviceable on the field. They were in that Seattle game for a little while in Seattle.
Yeah, Cleveland's kind of a circus. It's back to the drawing board. They fired their head coach, fired their GM. They're gonna get one of the first few picks of the draft.
First pick in the draft.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry, second pick. You're right.
I couldn't remember because I was thinking Titans. Yeah, it was Titans.
You're right.
I couldn't remember if they had 2 or 3, but yeah, Manziel and McCown splitting reps, splitting games. That whole, Manziel was just a lot of noise, a lot of distraction. I do agree with you, being the Utah fan I am. It was good to see Paul Kruger had a good year again. Cleveland, it's back to square one. Yeah, you're coming in with a new GM, a new coach. I mean, where do you go from here? The only way, they're at the bottom. The only way to go is up. So as far as next year, I'm thinking like 6-10. I don't expect anything from Cleveland. Again, kind of like Miami, they gotta show me something.
Well, it's Cleveland. I feel bad for the fan base, and it's
only
just,
fan base I'll ever feel bad for. It's
Yeah.
the only city I'll ever
it's
feel
awful.
bad for.
I say draft a quarterback, invest in him, cut Manziel, build around that quarterback, make sure he's a franchise quarterback. But again, who do you draft to be your franchise quarterback, or wish your luck in free agency? I mean, it's hard to decide. New head coach, new GM, so it's Cleveland. I imagine they'll be in the bottom again for quite some time, and it's Cleveland. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I love their head coaching hire. I think they got the best head coach on the market, Hugh Jackson. So I think that was going for him. First round quarterbacks, I don't like them. But they're talking about Carson Wentz in the first round. I think he's the best quarterback in the class, but I don't want to take him in the second pick. They hired D. Podesta, which you guys may know him from Moneyball. I know you guys are baseball guys, but I figured you'd see Moneyball on FX every now and then. He's Jonah Hill's character. And then they hired Sashi. I can't remember his last name. Sashi Brown? I don't know. But they're both like analytics guy for baseball, so we'll see how that works out for him. All right, third place in the North, the Baltimore Ravens, who I had making the playoffs again, but you have that record when absolutely everyone on your team gets hurt. Like Thomas, you might have been watching the game. You're a Broncos fan. Terrell Suggs got hurt in that game, and then it all snowballed down from there. Joe Flacco, Steve Smith, a bunch of guys who all contribute. C.J. Mosley was bad this year. Jimmy Smith got hurt due to injury. He was bad. Darius Webb hasn't been the same since his ACL a couple years ago. Yeah, they're just Eugene Monroe got hurt.
I think Forsett got hurt too.
Yeah, Forsett broke his leg. Yeah,
because he only had 641 rushing yards.
Yeah, he broke his leg. It's just one of those years. They just gotta pack it in, deal with it.
Yeah, that's really all there is to say. It was just one of those years for Baltimore, an injury-plagued year. Coming into the season, I didn't know how to feel about them. Outside of Cleveland, the AFC North's kind of a toss-up. Cincy, Pittsburgh, or Baltimore. I said they go 9-7, miss the playoffs, but looking next year, I could definitely see them doing better, but taking that next step, I'm not sure yet. It's a tough division.
All right, Dan, we lost you for a second. Did you say anything in between? Because we lost you.
I have Baltimore making the wild card next year. Injuries, like you guys have stated. Joe Flacco, he's a playoff caliber quarterback.
Joe Flacco.
He'll get them there. Steve Smith's coming back, and this may be his final goodbye or not. It all depends how he goes.
Or nah.
Yeah. Defense injuries could use. I mean, Terrell Suggs is old, so it may be time to look for an upgrade there. But all in all, I think Baltimore's back in the playoff hunt if they're healthy and they can stay healthy.
Yeah, Flacco should be right by week 1. ACL is about 8-month injury now, but I doubt he'll play preseason game, but he should be ready. Team that finished second, Pittsburgh Steelers. Kind of same old for them. Really good offense. Le'Veon Bell got hurt, which is unfortunate for them. That may have hurt their chances of winning the division. But that front seven played so much better than I thought it would be. Stephon Tuitt played out of his mind this year, where I thought Shazier is finally showing what he could be as a first-round pick. He's maybe the best player on their defense. Yeah, that front seven really showed me something. I didn't think it was good. The back four, though, that back end's really, they have to fix that. And the Steelers refuse to spend high picks like that. They traded for Brandon Boykin, who was one of the better slot corners in the league, and he couldn't get on the field. So I don't know. They can't go in the season with Will Allen or with Gay and Allen, Cortez Allen and Will Gay. They can't do that again, but they might. Mike Mitchell's a box safety. He can't cover anyone, and they got to figure out something to do with that back end.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. I feel the same. Same old. 10-6. That's about where I had them. One thing that did surprise me was D'Angelo Williams. When Bell was out, D'Angelo Williams was balling. He lost weight. He looked athletic. Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown. You've got Marcus Wheaton, Heath Miller.
I'm so tired of that Marcus Wheaton talk, but continue.
Definitely had them making the playoffs this year. I definitely have them making the playoffs next year. Pittsburgh just needs to draft a DB. Their next step, they need to get to the AFC Championship. They need to get to the Super Bowl. That's the next step for them.
I don't think Roethlisberger can stay healthy in the Super Bowl run, but anyways.
Frankly, the Steelers did better than I expected. I saw them as a 8-8 team, maybe. If that, I believe if Baltimore was fully healthy, they would have came in third in the division. But the Steelers have the same problem every year. Ben Roethlisberger needs to stay healthy. Their defense needs fixing, especially their corners and their safeties. With Antonio Brown as your wide receiver, they have a good group of wideouts. Le'Veon Bell coming back next year, he'll have another breakout year. It just matters if Roethlisberger stays healthy, they're always in the hunt for the playoffs.
That is very true. That's what happens when you have a Hall of Fame type quarterback. One of the more surprising teams in the NFL is Cincinnati Bengals, who I had until Dalton broke his thumb. I thought they'd be the AFC representative in the Super Bowl, but obviously that did not happen. Tumultuous end to that season, especially the end of that game. That's what, again, like the Jets, is something the Bengals do, snake-bitten franchises, all that type of jazz. A tough way after the season ended. That started out so brightly. 8-0, I believe they started, until they had that loss in can't remember who they lost to. Anyways,
Texans.
Texans. Thank you. Monday night. Yeah.
Awful game.
Yeah, it's a tough way for a season to end. The perfect hit. That's kind of. I don't think he did it on purpose. I know the dude's an idiot, but he can't. It's still dirty. You can see where it comes from. I don't think he did it on purpose. But you gotta be better than that. Daniel, the Bengals.
I had the Bengals in the Super Bowl this year, like most people, until Dalton got hurt. I believe if Dalton didn't get hurt, they'd be in the Super Bowl right now. And
Second that.
It came down to, I also, since I am a defensive player and I am biased, I do think Perfect's hit was legal, and I really don't have a problem with his hit.
Yeah, we were watching that game together. We all thought, me and your dad thought it should have been flagged. You still didn't think it should have been flagged.
No. I just have to say, why wasn't the hit on Giovanni Bernard earlier flagged? It was the same hit. It was actually worse.
It's because he made a football move and he turned and looked.
No. You know how hard it is to stop while you're running full speed, especially at 260 pounds.
I don't know the 260 pounds part, no.
Yeah, well,
Thomas might know.
Yeah. I would know. No, but it comes down to Bengals next year. I have them in the Super Bowl hunt for next year. Everyone stays healthy. They don't do any more stupid mistakes. I believe you keep Marvin Lewis. He's a good coach. I believe he's just has bad luck. And I have the Bengals going to the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, Bengals looking like a juggernaut early in the season. Started off 8-0 at the midseason. They capped off their midseason with, or the first half of the season, capped it off with just a dominating primetime win over the Browns. Tyler Eifert, 3 touchdown catches. Dalton was looking great. 12-4. That's about what I expected. As far as the playoffs go, I did not have them in the Super Bowl. Bengals. Ryan, we had a conversation earlier in the year about how the Bengals. We were talking about the chances of the Bengals going 16-1.
Yeah,
that's kind of my.
That's 16-1. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of my take on the Bengals. Didn't have Dalton, had to go in with A.J. McCarron. They don't win playoff games, and they've got to take that next step. They've got to win. Looking at their losses, they had an awful loss to the Texans, but other than that, losing to Arizona, the Steelers, and the Broncos, disappointing year for them definitely. Like Daniel said, definitely in the hunt for the Super Bowl next year. Got to show me something in the playoffs.
I totally agree. Dalton, they gotta get the monkey off the back. It's a huge thing. Just get that 1-1, the rest should come.
One thing I will say about Dalton before we continue is in it's been 4 playoff games, right? Or is it's been 4? I'm pretty sure it's been 4, but in those playoff games,
4 playoff. Yeah, he's 4 playoff games losses. Yes.
He's thrown 1 touchdown and 7 interceptions. So.
Yeah, they have not been pretty. They were favorites in one of those. And this year was San Diego game. That's about it. All right. Now we're on to maybe the sorriest division in the NFL, the NFC South. The NFC resides in there.
I heard the NFC North.
The NFC North is one of the better ones. Yeah, but this team they don't deserve to get talked about long. The Titans, they have Mariota, which is the only thing they have going for them. Jarrell Casey's a pretty good player. I like McCourty on the corner. They have Arakpo. They have some talent there. They need to get a lot more, but just the hiring of Malarkey is a total joke. They don't deserve to be talked about long.
And trust me, I know about a Malarkey head coach hiring. It's not pretty.
Only lasted 1 year in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Well, 2-14 will do that. No, but Mariota, the piece is there. You just got to build around him. That's all I got to say. Just got to build around Mariota.
Yeah, Mariota looked great in the opener against the Bucs.
That's won by playing Lovie Smith's freaking prehistoric defense. But anyways, continue.
That is true, but he was balling, and then after that, everything just kind of went to hell. You got some playmakers. You got Delaney Walker. Like you said, I don't agree with the hiring. Went 3-13 this year. Draft Laramie Tunzel and get some protection for Mariota. I could see him going like 5-11, 6-10-ish next year. Technically an improvement, but I don't expect anything from the Titans.
Yeah, again, why even talk about them? They're almost a joke.
Yeah.
Man, all right, this is the Daniel's most talked about team. This is a team that granted, I only had them going 5-11 this year, which I turned out to be correct. But I mean, they showed me what they did, which is that Bortles looked great. He has those back-breaking, worst time possible turnovers.
Oh
My
yeah.
boy Allen Robinson, Penn State, he's a monster. Just keep throwing in the ball. Allen Hurns everyone just thought he was deep after last year, showed he could actually be a number two. That offensive line, that defensive line, though, it's hard to look at. This is Gus Bradley's making a break year coming up because he's taking over defensive play calling again. Thomas, let's have you talk for your little while and let Daniel rant.
Jacksonville, I really like their skill players on offense. One of the prettier, Robinson, Allen Hurns, Marquise Lee, Bortles, you got T.J. Yeldon, Denard Robinson. That defense has to improve. The offense, Bortles has been playing some decent ball. The offense is there. Offensive line kind of took a step back. Luke Jokel, Zane Beadles definitely had more of a down year.
Newski couldn't get a
defense
snap
down. Defense, you have Postlesny. You got to build it around him. Losing Dante Fowler, your first the first workout he tore his ACL. That's bad luck.
Yeah, I'd like to see them use Thomas. I'd like to see them use Thomas more in the offense, but that's what happens when you have a new quarterback and you miss training camp in the month season. All right, Daniel, your floor.
Well, Jacksonville, I expected us to do a little better, maybe 7-9, 8-8, but 5-11, it's improvement. And as a Jacksonville fan, I know it hurts. It's been a long time, and it's coming. The years of Blaine Gabbert, Chad Henne, it's been hard.
But Blaine Gabbert's a real American.
Wide receivers of Mike Sims-Walker, Mike Thomas.
Thomas was a horrible. Reggie Williams.
Those bad
Jones.
bad
Your Matt Jones jersey.
Those bad defenses. That Derek Harvey pick, Jeremy Mincy.
Great pick. Alualo at number 10.
Yeah. No. Jacksonville, we're Jacksonville, of course. We lost Dante Fowler. We need help. Cyprien needs help in the backfield. We need Bortles. He needs to stop with the little mistakes, and he'll be good. You get some protection around Bortles. He's an all-pro quarterback, in my opinion. He's got great wide receivers. T.J. Yeldon's in for another breakout year. Telvin Smith, best young outside linebacker in the league right now. No doubt about it. Undersized, underrated, in my opinion. The man is stellar. He is an absolute beast of an outside. We need a line. We need Dante Fowler to come back. Jared Odrick had a solid year. I would have preferred better for the money we gave him, but he had a good year. Paul Postlesny, I have the same problem with Paws last year. Needs to stay healthy. Needs to be good. We're a young team, and we're on the rise, and I do believe we're going to make some waves coming up in these couple years. And Gus Bradley.
Yeah, hopefully they give the ball to Yell at the goal line next year, but there's definitely a reason for hope there. It's not bleak, and there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel. All right, the second team finished second in the NFL. I was not as high on them as other people. A lot of people picked them to go to Super Bowl. I did not, but I still had them going 12-4. The Indianapolis Colts. Granted, you had the Luck injury with the lacerated kidney, but still, before that, it did not look good at all. I did not like their free agent signings. You don't pay old guys. You don't pay over-the-hill running back. Andre Johnson looked like a shell of himself this year. I'm pretty sure I would have been better outside trying to get separation from NFL corners than he would have been. Again, that line can't block. They can't save Andrew Luck's luck. What happened to Luck this year can keep happening next year if you don't invest in the offensive line. Todd Herremans, who they signed, became a healthy scratch after like week 4, got benched. But yet, Costanzo is the only guy they can rely on. Kyle Holmes, the center, he's a huge liability. The Henry Anderson, that was a good pick for them this year. The Dorsett pick, I hated. They picked him in the first round. You have plenty of receivers. You guys get physically dominated every year in the playoffs. You have to invest someone on your lines. They got, which they ended up doing, picking Henry Anderson out of Stanford in the third round. He was great until he had to go on IR. He really helped their run defense, but they still had to fix that front seven. The back seven, the back four is, besides Vontae Davis, they're all average at best or mediocre. You have Vontae Davis and Henry Anderson really is the only guys you can build off of that in the future. You still have Dakota Jackson and Robert Mathis, but they won't be there for much longer.
Yeah, Indianapolis, weird year. Just a really weird year. Losing Andrew Luck was unfortunate, but at the same time, you also have to take in the fact that they were 1-4 with Andrew Luck. He threw 9 interceptions in that stretch. Again, defense has got to get better. They got the pieces on offense. Frank Gore just had it wasn't an awful year, but it was nothing special. 967 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. They got Hilton. They have Dwayne Allen. I really don't know what to expect for the Colts. Considering how weak the AFC South is with Tennessee, and you can't trust Jacksonville with Houston, I'm gonna go ahead and say Indianapolis Colts next year, 10-6, they'll win the division.
I would have to disagree with you there, Thomas. I don't have the Colts winning the division next year. Yeah.
Jackson.
It's Jacksonville's year next year.
Move those chains. Move those chains. Move.
No, I mean look at their stadium. We have a pool. Do any of you guys have a pool? No, that's besides the point. The Colts,
that's putting lipstick on a pig, Daniel.
It is what it is. The Colts, I could have gotten to Andrew Luck this year. That's how bad their offensive line was. I mean,
it's been like that for the past couple of years too.
Yeah, Luck stays healthy. They're a playoff caliber team. They went out and bought players for a win now mentality. Old guys who have proven themselves. Andre Johnson, Frank Gore. Obviously, they did not meet any expectations, and Matt Hasselbeck is an old.
He got killed. I didn't think he was going to finish the season alive.
Yeah. So when it comes down to it, offensive line. Colts, let me be your GM. I'll draft you an offensive line. I could do that. Almost anyone could see that.
Yeah, Grigson's bad. Grigson was not Pagano was not the problem. I don't think he's the greatest coach, but he definitely deserves to keep his job. Grigson needs to go. I don't. Grigson. But I mean, again, they have one of the best 2 quarterbacks in the league. It's when healthy, it's Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck, and then you have Brady there. But he's not when they're healthy. He's not on the same level. All right, team who won the division, which after about week 5, I was sure they were the worst team in the NFL. After the Miami and Atlanta stretch, I was like, oh my God, these teams are horrible. But I went into the year thinking Ryan Mallett was going to be the starter. I thought he should have been. I was a believer in Ryan Mallett. I didn't think he'd be a Pro Bowler or anything, but I thought he'd be their best option. Turns out he is kind of like Manziel Light almost mentally. He's just doesn't seem to care much about the game, and when he does, he's not very good. Actually, ended up starting the last couple games for the Ravens though. That defense came on at the end after the first 5 weeks. They were god awful. Watt did Watt things, but didn't get recognition for some reason. Even when he broke his hand, he was still best defensive lineman in the league. Clowney was really good this year. People don't realize that. He didn't get to he was always the problem. His problem was he didn't stay healthy, and he's literally a half step late to every single. He would have had a lot more sacks. You just go look at his highlights or just his normal game tape. Don't even look at the highlights. He's just dominating guys up front. He's just getting there too late. Whitney Mercilus came on really well at the end. Kareem Jackson, Joseph's getting up there, but he's still decent. Their safeties they could use a little help, but other than that, I don't think they're in horrible shape. Foster got hurt. I think you need to cut him. He's $7 million is the cap. You cut him, it's only $1 million dead cap, so you get $6 million there. I think they need to draft Hackenberg. You draft Hackenberg in the second round. You look what he did his freshman year with Bill O'Brien. If Hackenberg gets to Houston, he will be the best quarterback out of this class.
Well, I definitely agree with you about Clowney. It seems like after he got injured in his rookie year, everyone just kind of forgot about Clowney. The hype kind of died. Great year along with Watt. Brian Hoyer, he was acceptable. He did adequate. DeAndre Hopkins having a great year. Over 1,500 receiving yards.
What could that guy do with a real quarterback? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Nuke is an appropriate nickname.
11 touchdowns. I don't think they should draft Hackenberg in the second round. I think they could get him for later. That would be pretty. That'd be pretty genius if Hackenberg didn't end up in Houston and Bill O'Brien made him work in the system. I think they need
like those old gas commercials. Genius.
Genius.
Those are some good commercials.
Leading rusher only had 2 touchdowns and less than 700 yards. Put priority on running back.
Blue Grimes.
Houston Texans.
They're all pretty bad. Blue Grimes, Polk. I like the Polk because he was in Philly, but he doesn't have any burst. But anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. Their best running back was Alfred Blue. A lot of running backs coming out this year. I'd say put a priority on that. Houston Texans. I could see them winning division. Just totally crap in the bed and not doing it with the Colts, arising and winning the division. Hard to say. I'm saying 9-7 again for next year.
I'm a huge J.J. Watt fan. I say to put him at quarterback, and you're a Super Bowl contender. No, but J.J. Watt, another great year, another fabulous job. Probably one of the best defensive players in the league, if not the best.
One of the best of all time.
Yeah, quarterback. I like what Ryan said. Zach Hackenberg, not Bettenberg.
Christian. You worried so much about his last name, he screwed up his first name.
Christian Hackenberg, not Zach Mettenberg. These names are confusing.
You can't even get Mettenberger. You can't even get the name of trying to make sure you don't say it right. Mettenberger.
How did Zach Mettenberger start games in the NFL?
We're done with Titans. They don't deserve our.
How is Tebow not in the NFL? Why is Tebow not in the NFL?
No, we're not going on this. Okay, we're done with the Texans. They need a quarterback. Okay, no more Tebow talk.
No.
NFC West.
Their defense is good, though. I'd have to say they need help in the backfield. Brian Cushing stayed healthy, and that's always a plus.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Yeah. Cut Foster, get a new young running back in, get some help for Hopkins, and get a quarterback.
All right, next team, the San Diego Chargers. Kind of the same story as the Ravens.
Oh.
They had probably worse than the Ravens. They had everyone get hurt. I think they had, in a span of 2 games, they had like 17 guys have to leave the game with injuries. Keenan Allen, Joe Barksdale, like everyone, pretty much the whole offensive line got hurt, and Rivers got killed because of it. Melvin Gordon, coming out last year, I thought he'd be good, but you look at our preseason, he was tentative to hit the hole, danced too much, doesn't really make up his mind. I still think there's time for him to get better, but again, running backs, your shelf life isn't that long. Jason Verrett played really well. He made the Pro Bowl, again, even though there's 135 Pro Bowlers this year, but he still played well. Weddle is a free agent. I think they might bring him back, though, because I think he likes San Diego, and looks like they're going to stay there. Brandon Flowers played bad this year after he's normally really solid. They need a pass rush. Excuse me. They need a pass rush. They haven't been able. They keep investing picks, and they just can't get it right. Corey Legit, he's a legit player. He's a good down lineman.
Is he too legit to quit, Ryan?
I don't like my pun, Thomas. You don't like puns? Okay, I guess Thomas isn't the pun guy.
I only like puns if they're really bad, Ryan. You forget that.
All right, yeah. But other than that, Chargers just one of those injury years. I think keeping McCoy was a smart thing to do. Give him one more year. We'll see what happens.
Man, I just have to say I feel so bad for Phillip Rivers because he just kept getting hit and killed all year. He throws 29 touchdowns. He almost throws for 5,000 yards. Doesn't get any attention. San Diego Chargers probably one of the best 4-12 teams in this past decade. It's like you said, Ryan. It just came down to injuries. Started off the year 2-2. Dropped games, 2 road games at the Bengals and at the Vikings. That's not too bad. But then after that, went on to lose just 7 in a row. Did pick up a win against Jacksonville and the Dolphins, but it was just, yeah. Right now, the San Diego Chargers just need to regroup. They need to rendezvous, get everyone healthy, and I could definitely see them being a contender for the AFC West next year.
Well, I'm a Phillip Rivers fan. I feel bad for him. I do feel bad for that man. That man if anyone deserves to win, Phillip Rivers deserves to win. But it was a bad year. Injuries, everything. Defense I would like Eric Weddle. I don't think they'll re-sign him. I would like to see him in Jacksonville personally.
They
And
definitely got a cap room for him.
I think he should come. It's beautiful weather. No, but it's
Texas is
good.
pretty shitty, actually.
Deciding to stay. They're a loyal and true fan base, unlike some Philadelphia. But but
I think you got best and worst
yeah.
confused. Okay.
No. But health, a big factor. I don't see them winning the division. I don't see them winning the conference. I see them making the wild card spot, maybe, if everything comes together.
Yeah, I personally think Philip Rivers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. It's surprising because Thomas, I know, usually hates Philip Rivers because of his Bronco ties, but I love
I respect him.
I love the way Philip Rivers plays. He's tough as nails. He really, he just loves the game of football, and that's what I wish most guys would be like that. Oakland Raiders team, I saw this coming out of them. People liked Derek Carr at the end of last year, and then during the offseason, they're like, wait a second, Derek Carr wasn't that good. We got way too hype on Derek Carr. He played well. He's a Pro Bowl quarterback. Maybe not deserved it, but deserves it other than most. Cooper played well at the beginning of the year, kind of fell off at the end. Crabtree had a resurgent year. Crabtree looked like he didn't have the same burst as he did before the Achilles injury, but he looked just as good, maybe a little bit better. I want that team to get a tight end and even get a third receiver. The offensive line is one of the better ones in the league. Ronnie Hudson, Donald Penn. Maybe you might want to replace Donald Penn, but they're still good. Gabe Jackson looks like a nice young guard. That defense, Khalil Mack's a monster. That guy is a Von Miller level, just disruptive. But they still need to fix that secondary. DJ Hayden, who some people thought was the best corner in the draft that year, has not been good. Nate Allen, oh my God, no. Charles Woodson's retiring, even though I still think he has more in the tank. He was good this year. I think he was a little bit overhyped, but yeah, they need to fix that defense. But they have good pieces on offense.
Yeah, Oakland reminds me a lot of Jacksonville. They got a lot of ball players. They got some pretty skilled players. Got some great pieces. I think the future is bright in Oakland. Derek Carr, solid year. Was 13 yards away from breaking 4,000 through 32 touchdowns. Tavius Murray did all right, broke 1,000 yards. Amari Cooper, like you said, kind of fell off. Khalil Mack, if I remember correctly, Khalil Mack actually had more sacks than J.J. Watt this year. Definitely like him. Dude's going to be a star. Future's bright in Oakland. I say they get over the hump next year. Not necessarily at the playoffs, but I think they're going to have their first positive win record. Oakland Raiders 7-9, or not 7-9, 9-7.
Thomas, go back to elementary school. Apparently, why are you in college? Holy crap!
I'm not taking a math class right now.
I thought I was bad. Now, like Thomas says, Oakland's another case like Jacksonville. Another young team close to breaking out. I think Jack Del Rio's the man to get it done. He's a good coach. I respect what he does. I respect what he does for an organization. Their defense needs fixing. They need to fill in the hole. Charles Woodson may have lost a step, but he was a leader. He was a leader on that team, and it's hard to lose a team leader. Derek Carr this year. I like Derek Carr. I think if they find the right pieces, they're in the hunt for the playoffs. Just another young team looking to break out.
Yep, I agree that they're just a year or two away. All right, team that finished second got a playoff spot. Kansas City Chiefs, who started off 1-5 and looked pretty bad. I didn't think they were that bad, but I did not think they were 11 wins in a row good. Granted, all those teams with tomato cans. You have a great coach in Andy Reid, even though his game decisions, play calling, clock management, we all know how bad and questionable that can be. Still a great coach. We got Thomas over here, his man crush on Alex Smith. I thought the Jamal Charles injury would kill him. I really did. He's used like Brian Westbrook was in the old Eagles offense when the Eagles had no weapons. But they overcame it. The Macklin, that was a huge signing for him. It gave him someone to go to. Kelsey was good. Fantasy people don't think he's as good as he was, but they think he was a little bit overhyped. But what he does blocking-wise and diverting attention away, he's still just got paid a whole bunch of money, second highest contract for tight end ever. But Yeah, Marcus Peters played really well. Justin Houston had injuries. Tamba Ali, I think, is done. I think you might have to cut him. I don't think he's got anything left in the tank.
Yeah, the Chiefs. I thought the Chiefs were horrible after they were 1-5. I said they would go 8-8 in preseason. This was back when I thought that this was bad offense statistically, and back when the Bears sucked, which they still do, and back when I thought the Vikings sucked. When they were 1-5, I was looking at the schedule and I was like, man, they're gonna finish 3-13, 4-12. They got hot. You can make an argument that they were the playoffs' most dangerous team. Like you said, Ryan Macklin, huge signing. We always give Alex Smith crap. He's Mr. Throw it to Charles, throw it 10 yards down the field, but it's nice to have
10
Macklin.
yards, holy crap, you gave him way too much. 10 yards, what the hell? Why'd you double his total?
Ryan's just a Smith hater.
He is a Smith hater.
I forgot Daniel has a man crush on Smith, too. I'm the only level-headed guy with Smith here.
Macklin, just having him was just a huge signing. Great weapon to have. Jamal Charles, kind of the same thing as Andrew Luck. After he got hurt, Kansas City surged, and that has nothing to do with Charles. But I thought that was interesting. They just kind of brought it together. Chiefs, that's tough. With Denver and San Diego, I do think I'm going to say the 9-7, not missing the playoffs, no wild card.
All right, 9-7, no playoffs. How about you, Daniel?
As I discussed earlier, I love Alex Smith. I do have a huge man crush on Alex Smith, but sad for Jamal Charles. I feel bad. ACL tear, it's awful. But it was the best thing that happened to the Chiefs this year, his tear, because they had to spread the offense around. Defense looked good as always. Good to see Eric Berry back on the field healthy, cancer-free.
Look at that.
It was good to see that. But I knew the Chiefs would make the playoffs. I didn't think they would make it into the second round, divisional round. But like every year, I believe the Chiefs will be in the hunt. They'll actually make the playoffs, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender or they'll ever be a Super Bowl winner. But they'll consistently be in the playoffs as long as Alex Smith and the rest of the team's playing well. And Andy Reid keeps up his decent play calling when it's not crunch time. But
crunch time. It was just, oh, God, don't even give a start on Andy Reid play calling.
Chiefs, 9-7, 10-6, maybe 11-5, and depending on how Brock Osweiler plays next year, could win the division.
Well, we'll wait for our...
Manning's done.
We'll wait to get closer to the beginning of the year next year.
He's on HGH.
Let's wait till August to make our predictions, at least. There's a lot of...
Manning is done.
A lot of pieces to do this offseason. Speaking of Manning, on to the Denver Broncos. Not much.
Steroids. He's on HGH.
Not much to say about them. Stellar defense. Looked one of the best ones ever in the first half of the year. Kind of fell off second half. Not fell off so much though, but they kind of eased up on it. It seemed like they
took a step back.
Well. Yeah, they definitely took a step back. Turned it back. But then they looked same old like beginning of the year against the Patriots. Wade Phillips, he's the pickup of the year for them. He's one of the best defense coordinators year in year out. Again, the quarterback play was. I love Peyton Manning. I think he's the best quarterback of all time. But he's got to stop after this year. The Osweiler hype, I feel like Osweiler had the one good quarter against New England, and that bought him a bunch of time. People thought he was playing well when the Broncos were routinely scoring 10, 13 points on offense.
Denver.
Let's let Daniel go first, and then you can.
I'll rant.
One, I am a Jackson. It was ugly to watch Peyton Manning play this year, like always. But
oh yeah.
But I think this is one of his worst years. That's why I think it's going to be his last. The defense, great defense. Defense wins championships, but hopefully not this one. So
all the listeners out there, Daniel is just like Fox News, fair and balanced.
Yes.
He is right down the middle on Peyton Manning.
This is the no spin zone, Ryan. This is the no spin zone. Just call me Bill O'Reilly.
Man, what a year.
Oh wait, no, Daniel wasn't done. I'm sorry, I cut Daniel off. I thought Daniel was done.
I I believe Manning's done this year. The defense is young and they're good. So I can't wait to see what they do next year when I'm okay with Brock Osweiler winning games. So I will cheer for the Broncos in the Super Bowl next year when Manning isn't in it, Thomas.
Man, what a year. I'm not gonna say it felt kind of weird. Manning had such a rough start, throwing 9 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. Throughout the first 5 or 6 weeks, we were statistically the worst offense. Got it done though. Smacked the Packers, beat them 29-10. That was a great win. Got kind of rocky. As far as Brock Osweiler to me is really a tale of two halves, where he would do fine, he would do adequate in the first half, and the second half we were just not moving the ball, we were not getting points. We had a 3-game stretch where we did not score in the second half, or we were shut out. Defense might be the best in our franchise's history. Statistically, it is. As far as Peyton Manning, he balled out against the Patriots. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, threw over 200 yards. Not spectacular, but he got the job done.
You just say balled out, though. I was.
Not amazing, but
you just contradict yourself. You hate America.
He was making the throws. He was looking precise. Of course, he had his few shaky ones, but he had some nice throws against New England. Defense.
Go on.
Defense. Okay, thanks, Daniel. Defense absolutely harassed Tom Brady. I think that was Tom's worst game in the last 3 or 4 seasons. Super Bowl predictions.
No, it's not this podcast.
Not this podcast.
They're gonna lose.
As far as next year, I think I'll say 10 and 6.
That's not this podcast either.
I've been doing all my next year predictions.
I know. It's not this podcast. I don't know why I keep doing it. We're reviewing the year of 2015.
You should have told me earlier.
We
We did. This was post. This was.
All right, move on. Next.
Whatever. All right, that will about do it for our 2015 year in review for the AFC. You like the podcast? If you don't, whatever. Like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think about it, what we can do to improve, what you liked, what you didn't like. All right, that will about do it. Come back for our NFC podcast.